So, as this conversation around Chet Holmgren keeps going, led by the loudest voices on ESPN, Kendrick Perkins, Stephen A. Smith, all pushing to trade him for Giannis or make some kind of deal, I've even seen recent talk about LeBron James potentially heading to OKC in exchange for Chet Holmgren. But the reality is, Chet is the one with a target on his back right now, and he was second-guessing himself all throughout this series. The only time he really showed any spark was when Wembanyama went to the bench, and that's a real problem when you consider all the injuries and talent the Thunder lost during this series. It was a hard, grueling, hard-fought series, so you'd expect Chet to step up in some capacity, show his value, give it everything he had. But with Victor Wembanyama on the floor, he simply couldn't get it done. Now, the question is, do you give up on a player who just last season helped you win a championship and played a genuinely vital role, or is everyone overreacting here? Because that's worth thinking about, right? You literally just won with this guy. But he's had a rough season, and his matchups against Wembanyama have looked bad consistently, and I think that's really what people are zeroing in on. As Wembanyama has added weight and muscle this season, Chet has struggled badly against him. He matched up better with Wemby earlier in both of their careers, but at this point, the gap between them is just impossible to ignore. It's noticeable every single time they share the floor. Now, we're going to hear from Jerome Randle. I genuinely respect his channel and what he brings to the table. He's got a lot of strong points he's about to lay out. I'm going to tag him in this video, so make sure you go follow him. Let's get into it.
Man, message to players, especially like NBA players, the young players that's coming up. Never allow the good things said about you to get you so high, mentality-wise. Because as much as they build you up, they can break you down. I'm specifically talking about Chet Holmgren, right? Like, he's been doing so well to the point where they won a championship last year. And now that this series was bad, and not take away the fact that they #1 seed, they playing good all year, no one had anything to say, and he runs into someone who's actually on the up and up. At what point do you allow and do you accept the fact that it's other great NBA players out here that just got your number? That doesn't mean that he needs to be traded. That doesn't mean that you need to get rid of him. He's an all-star. It's like all these different things that's happening, with players. It's almost like you cannot be outplayed. Understand that somebody got to be outplayed. And at the end of the day, yeah, their team was better at this point. OKC was missing a couple players or whatever the case is, but I think the only thing I can say about Chet is that he second-guessed a lot. He picked up his dribble too much, and he needs to be able to keep his rhythm a lot more against Wemby. I don't think it's an urgency of him being traded because of what happened in this series. Nah, bro. And if that's the case, then it shows the disloyalty, of what I've done and, how I helped the team get over the hump to win the championship, being one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team in the NBA. And now things don't go the way that we wanted to go. Now I'm trading them. I see Perk talking about it. Stephen A., he always talking about it. They sell with a lot of things, but at the end of the day, y'all, come on, man. Come on. You can't tell me that, Perk, you wasn't outplayed, or, so many people is outplayed in the game of basketball. That's why it's the NBA. That's why you're going to have so many games where people going to get the best of you. You're going to get the best of them. And unfortunately, this was a series where Wemby got the best of them. And that's okay. But he has an opportunity to go through the summer and get himself right. He needs to prepare for him, because everybody else in the league, he do a good job with. You might get somebody to outplay you, out-rebound you, whatever the case is, but this was a flat-out, I'm better than you type situation. That's the beauty of basketball. When you have a moment like this, you got to go back to the drawing board. And the summertime got to be, I am coming to attack you. You're my focal point. Because if I can get over the mental hump with you, everybody else, it's a cakewalk. Because right now, you at the pinnacle right now. And that's Wemby I'm talking about. Wemby has established himself as probably being the best player in the league, but I'm still not, ready to even put him on over Jokic right now, just because he's playing well. Jokic is still a force to be reckoned with. People keep forgetting, just because things go left, people be quick to just jump off the bandwagon of other great players. I don't know about that. I think Wemby and Jokic right now is neck to neck. Jokic right now, team just wasn't as good. They wasn't as good. Wemby got a long way to go, but Wemby is coming, bro. And it's almost to the point where when he's there, it's like it's gonna be tough for anybody to stop what he got coming, because you see it. But trading Chet, I think that's a little far-fetched. He ain't ready to be traded right now. I think mentally he was broke. And that's okay. At some point, whether good players want to believe it or not, somebody got you at some point. And that's why we continue to work and do what we do. That's why we love the game, because the preparation and how we get better over the summertime. You look at this as a learning curve, learning experience, and you go get to the gym, bro, in the summertime and get ready for next season. That's it. Look at everybody else is at the crib chilling. Ain't talking about them. I don't think it is that serious to talk in that way because somebody got the best of you, bro. Like, that's what basketball is. Sometimes your shot's not gonna fall. Sometimes it's just gonna be a different type of luck for other people. Luck does play a part in the game of basketball. Y'all need to understand that and believe that. But trade it? Come on, man.
Now, as a former player, someone who actually suited up for the Cal Bears as a high-level college guard, Jerome Randle is someone you might remember. The only reason he didn't have a long NBA career was his height, coming in at 5'9", but the skill set was absolutely there. He had a solid career overseas, put in time in the G League, and held his own wherever he played. And look, I agree with several of the points he made. A young player in that kind of situation, with an organization that has a genuine track record of developing talent and maximizing their players, what exactly is their development plan for Chet? Because personally, when I first saw Chet Holmgren get drafted, I looked at his frame and his shoulders right away. And honestly, it didn't look like he was ever going to be able to put on weight at the same rate Wembanyama has been doing it. That's always something I pay attention to: shoulder width, frame size, and how much functional muscle a big man can realistically add, and how fast he can add it. And with Chet's build specifically, it looked like it was going to be a long-term challenge. I felt it could become a real problem down the line, and I believed from early on that these two players would only grow further apart as time went on. A big part of that was simply watching what Wembanyama is physically capable of. Wemby has been putting on 20 pounds of solid muscle in a single offseason, 20 good pounds, and he's not losing any mobility in the process. He's getting more athletic, more confident, more physical with every passing season. That's a rare combination, and it's been impossible to ignore. And I do agree with Jerome on this point. The media will build you up just to tear you down. That's always been the nature of this business. Some of these exact same people were singing Chet's praises loudly just last year. And Jerome also pointed out something that was hard to argue with. Chet looked like the deer in the headlights out there, picking up his dribble too early, freezing up in key moments. When you start playing like a thinking player rather than a reactive one, and you've got someone like Victor Wembanyama locked in on you, any elite professional can sense that fear and that hesitation immediately. They see it in your eyes. They feel your tentativeness. They recognize your lack of confidence, your reluctance to attack the basket, your unwillingness to be aggressive and proactive. They see straight through it. And I think Chet put himself in a position where that kind of criticism became unavoidable. His post-game answers didn't help either. Going 1 for 2 from the field, that is simply inexcusable. When your team is shorthanded, when players are going down around you, and you're earning the kind of money he's earning, you have to be putting up 10 shot attempts minimum. At some point in your career, you have to grow beyond just being a lob threat and a floor spacer. We've seen Chet in the gym working with Kevin Durant, and that's great. The lab work looks impressive. The reverse pivots, the scoop layups, the step-back threes, those moves look clean in a workout setting. But are you actually executing those moves against real physicality? Against defenders who are making you earn every inch? Or are you just running through cone drills with no resistance? He needs to be playing more physical basketball this summer. Real competitive situations where guys are genuinely coming at him and testing him. I remember when he first entered the league and LeBron James just bulldozed straight through him, and he ended up missing a significant amount of time because of that collision. That moment said a lot. So what I would tell Chet is this: put on as much strength as you possibly can this offseason. Good functional muscle. Not so fast that you compromise your mobility, but be intentional and committed about adding as much as your frame will allow. You need to be able to compete with Wembanyama. Keep him honest. Make him think twice. Nobody is expecting Chet to become Wemby. That's not a realistic or fair standard. But if he can consistently put up 16 and 10, 18 and 10, defend his position and protect the paint with some physicality, people will respect that. Because let's be honest, Wemby is getting the better of almost everybody right now. Nobody is holding that against Chet specifically, but you still have to control what you can control. Because these conversations about moving on from him are only going to get louder, and he has put himself right in the middle of that discussion. With the assets Oklahoma City has accumulated, there's a real argument for going out and finding someone who can physically match up with Wembanyama in terms of length and strength as he continues to develop. Whether that's Evan Mobley, Giannis, or even the Mora kid out of Michigan, just to provide a body. I'm not sure he can stay in front of Wemby laterally, but it's been floated as a possibility worth exploring. But I want to hear what you all think. Drop your thoughts down in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.